Hi guys, I am so sorry. It has been a very long time since I've done a last video. But I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for watching my videos and for making comments and for emailing me. And I'm so sorry if I don't respond fast enough. I'm working on that. But I'm so glad that I can help anybody out there with the experience I've had, because there's been so many people before I had my surgeries and after that have helped me out in the way that I'm helping people. So please always reach out to me. I have my email address below. Always reach out. I have my Instagram, everything below anytime, and I will try to get back to you ASAP. Side note, it has been officially 2 years and 1 month since I've been using my J pouch. So my second surgery, which was the takedown, which got rid of my ostomy and put me all back together, it has been 2 years and 1 month. And I can say within a year, just the past year and 1 month, I have been very consistent health-wise in the way that I feel, because I think it took me that first year to have my body adapt, number one, and then number two, figure out what works for me and what doesn't work for me and sticking to that. So today my video is going to be a short one. I also have another one that I filmed earlier today that's in the works that I'm going to be editing, and I'm going to try and put it out next week. The editing always takes a long time. So sorry. So keep watching and I will help you guys as much as I can. So today, this video in particular is going to be about diet and supplements, what has worked for me, what hasn't, and within recognizing those things, I usually always, when I think something's affecting me, I immediately will go to jpouch.org or different forums. I will put the link for jpouch.org below. It's a really great community of J-pouchers and K-pouchers, and you can talk about your problems in every which way direction and help each other out. But anytime I kind of have those problems, or I think that might be what is bothering me, I immediately go to that website and search for it and see if other people are having the same problems, to see if that really is, then, well, yes, that is really my problem. So let's start off with diet. I can say that really for you, number one, if you haven't had the surgery yet and you're thinking about it, or you're going to have the surgery, or if you have already had the surgery and you're struggling, please, 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 please do not just listen hook, line, and sinker to your doctors, because your doctors do not have a J pouch like you. Yeah, they perform the surgeries, but they're not living with it day in and day out in their body. They're not feeling what it feels like. If you do have a doctor that has a J pouch, that's really cool. But please do things by trial and error. Go to forums. Forums are so great because you're looking at people that have been through what you've gone through, and you're gonna find people that are feeling and saying the same things that you're having thoughts about. So then you can know for sure that that's what's going on. Always keep a food journal when you're new or when you're not sure if something's bothering you. That's how I've discovered certain things that I can't eat that's causing me to have swelling. So that's what I'm going to tell you, number one, to do when it comes to diet. Just do that. And I know everybody's J pouches are different and our metabolisms are different. But the best thing you can ever do is keep a food diary. So I'm going to start off by telling you what I first noticed when I had my ostomy, and I think I mentioned this in my other videos. And then I'll talk about what I've discovered having a J pouch, and that being consistent with it has made a difference. So in fact that has been bothering me, and is true. So the biggest things that I've noticed when I was an ostomate, of course, spicy things. You can feel it oozing out and it irritates your skin. But my number one concern that I had was dairy. It would be cheese or anything that had milk in it, and it would just turn me pure liquid. My bag was just, it was almost like someone was pouring just straight water into my ostomy bag, and I kept having to empty it and kept having to empty it. And that's really scary because it's a really quick way to dehydrate you. And I already knew that I was slightly lactose intolerant, not because of potty issues, but because when I have cheese or milk, it actually affects my skin. I break out an eczema really bad on my face, or in between my fingers. My skin gets really dry. That is a sign of being lactose intolerant. Some people break out in cystic acne all in this area. And then of course, some people have tummy issues. So keep that in mind. But I do know that that was in the beginning because I only had an ostomy for 2 months. And so things were extra runny then because I just got my colon taken out of me, and your colon is responsible for absorbing all that liquid, all your water. So my body hadn't adjusted yet to that. So you're always runny right away. So I think that that just made it worse. Fast forward to when I had my takedown. Now, I still don't like to do dairy. I don't think that that's healthy for other reasons, you know, personal reasons. I don't think it's healthy. But then, of course, like I said, it causes me to have eczema and my skin to get really dry. But I do sometimes splurge. I'll have like nachos here and there with some cheese on it or whatnot. And it doesn't affect the consistency of my stool at all, which is really good because when you're a J-poucher, the thickest consistency that you will ever have is pudding. So for those of you that do not have a J-pouch and are thinking of getting one, just know that. So that's the way that I noticed it affected me. The biggest things, so having a J-pouch and going to the bathroom is so drastically different than having an ostomy. So you get what we call butt burn, which my last video I talked about that. And I think I showed this little balm that I suggested, an all natural balm that's really good for swelling, because not only can you have burn from heat, like if you eat spicy things, the way that it feels heat in your mouth, that's the exact way that it feels when it comes out. But I love spicy things, but that rarely affects me and it doesn't last that long. So those aren't my problems. My problem is when something I eat irritates me and causes swelling right in the inside and right on the outside, to the point where you can't, especially since we go quite more often than regular people, and you're that swollen, it's hard to get stuff out, and that just, it aggravates it and makes it worse, and you just feel like shards of glass are coming out of you. So my number one thing that I've noticed is nuts. And the doctors tell you right when you get your ostomy and etc., eat a lot of nuts, eat some peanut butter, etc., because we want to see if you can get your consistency to be thicker. Peanuts are okay because they're technically not a nut, they're a legume, and I don't have problems with peanuts. But the sad thing is I really like almonds and cashews, etc. Almonds, cashews, nuts, brutal. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's an enzyme issue. I haven't gotten into detail with that. I have emailed my surgeon a bit ago and said, hey, just letting you know, I kind of finally figured out what's bothering me, blah, 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 just so he knows, because then he can let his patients know, because the doctors are telling us to do this. It causes me to be swollen on the inside and then on the outside to the point where it just feels like shards of glass are coming out of me. And then when you have to keep going, when you're that swollen, it's just miserable. And yeah, I have that booty balm that I showed in my last video that's made from calendula, horse chestnut, yarrow root, that help with that are anti-inflammatories and help with swelling. That really does help, but it doesn't solve your problem when you keep eating things like that. So the way that I discovered that that was my problem, and I would have nuts here and there, was one time during lunch at work, I had almost a whole bag of raw almonds. And later that day, within hours, I was in agonizing pain. Agonizing pain. And the only thing I could think, I was telling my girlfriend, the only thing I could think was it had to be the almonds. So I immediately went to jpouch.org to see if anybody else is having this problem. Sure enough, a lot of other people are. They can't do nuts at all. So I took it out of my diet completely. My booty was totally fine. Everything was great. And then I think a couple months later, so I just kind of tried a little bit here and there. Same problem. So then I was sure I knew it was the nuts. And it was mostly almonds because I love almonds. I'll eat raw almonds or I'll have almond butter. So yeah, so I wasn't quite sure at that point if it was other nuts. I just assumed. I even tried almond milk because once in a blue moon, I love my coffee black, black, black. But once in a blue moon, I like to put some cream in there, and I would put almond milk in there because I usually don't do soy. Almond milk bothers me just the same. So all I could think is it's an enzyme issue. I'm not sure. It sucks really bad, but I'd rather be able to feel free and live my life and walk around than having a horrible swollen booty where I don't feel like I can do anything. I didn't have any other problems with nuts until last summer. We went on a family vacation and my mom made her own version of Lara bars. Now, I don't know if any of you know what Lara bars are. They're the best thing since sliced bread. So usually they're like these candy bars, these health candy bars that are super doughy, that are like made out of cashews and figs and different things. They're super good. So my mom made her own version out of cashews, and they were just little bite-sized squares. But I had like 4 of them and thinking, well, a little bit here and there won't bother me. It ripped me to pieces. So the whole entire rest of the vacation, I was totally screwed. So therefore I knew it was pretty much all nuts, and it didn't matter how much I had, especially since I've had a little bit of almond milk and that affected me too. Nuts are done. And especially if other people are having problems, nuts are a problem. So what I would suggest to you is if you are having chronic butt burn or pain, getting little cuts around your booty, stop. Just cut out the nuts, see if it makes a difference. If you are having chronic butt burn too, and I've mentioned this in my other videos, it is so important, and I can't say it enough, to have a bidet. And I'll put links for the one that I have hooked up in my bathroom, and I'll put links for the ones that I usually travel with and leave at other places that I frequent. Another reason why we can have butt burn is acid. Your stool without a colon is very acidic and it can burn the skin. So that's always a big concern if you in the beginning soil yourself and you don't know and it's just all over you. You burn your skin. And I know I've noticed a lot of people don't go anywhere without their wipes. It never in my right mind ever would just wipe myself with a wet wipe with this. That doesn't make any sense. Even if you're using dry paper or a wet wipe, you are still pressing that acid in your skin when you're wiping it off. So bidets are really great because they completely spray everything off of you, and then you just pat dry and you're good to go. Again, like I said, I have a handheld one. I know there's like bidets that are connected to your toilet seat that do that. To me sounds complicated, although I've never tried one. I have a handheld one that's like has a little lever that you spray, so I feel like I get more control. That one's great. That one's in my bathroom, and I think I got it off of Amazon. Not bad. One time the head got all broken, and because I had warranty, I just had to email them. They sent me a new one for free. Super easy. And totally worth it. Now, when I go places, I have these squeeze bottles that look like those old-fashioned ketchup bottles. And you can get them for really cheap off of Amazon. Those are what I use. I leave some at work. I leave one at my mom's house for whenever I'm there, because whenever I'm at my mom's, I usually am there for like a couple days. And then I always have a couple extra in my backpack if I'm just bebopping around somewhere. So it just makes your life a lot easier. You feel fresher, it's cleaner, and you don't get that acid pressed into your skin. Now I do, and I probably should have these, I do understand wet wipes to a point where, like, let's say you're out on the beach and there's only porta potties and you don't have access to get water to fill up your bidet. That's something you can do, but I don't recommend doing that consistently. Now going back to diet too, some of the other main things that I frequently eat, and this wouldn't be for everybody because there's vegetarians and vegans out there. I just can't be a vegetarian or vegan, unfortunately. I've noticed, and this has been since day one since I've had my ostomy, I pretty much have meat with every meal. That way it just makes sure that it doesn't go through me as fast. When you eat something that's thickening, that's why they tell you, the doctors in the hospital, to eat lots of peanut butter and etc., because they want you to thicken up your stool. That way I don't have to go up multiple times in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom. Normally I'm just going once in the middle of the night. Sometimes I don't. This is once in a blue moon. It doesn't wake me up. But having meat is consistent for me. Another thing too, for me, I've noticed I'm a little bit more on the thicker side than other people, and I don't know if that's because of diet or not, but I typically go only 4 times a day, when normally as a J-poucher you go about 8 times a day. And of course, depending on what I eat, like if I gorge myself because it's my day off and I just snack literally 24 hours that day, which sometimes happens, then I go more than 4 times a day. So those are my main things when it comes to diet. Again, like I said before, I feel like spicy things, play that by ear, because you're gonna feel it, almost like where you want to fan your mouth, you want to fan your booty, so it's the exact same feeling. But nuts, I would say, would be the worst culprit. Another thing that actually really bothers me, and again, when I had a bad day, I went to jpouch.org, and sure enough, people do too, is blueberries. Eating blueberries by themselves, or having them like a blueberry and a strawberry smoothie. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the skins or what, but those irritate the crap out of my bottom. No pun intended. They really irritate me. It's just itchy. It's just irritating. And I don't know if it's all the little bits of skin that are just getting stuck in a specific area. It's miserable. Third thing that I think is the worst, and I tried it right after I got my J pouch, and then I tried it a year later, still horrible, is chickpeas. Hummus was the first time I ever tried it, and same thing, it feels like the same kind of feeling that the blueberries feel like. It's just too gritty, and I don't know if it can come out, and it's thick, and it's itchy, and it's irritating, and I'm bloated. But even I noticed just having them separately, but even when they're not in hummus, just by themselves on top of a salad, they bother me the exact same way. Other beans I am totally fine with. I finally found a white bean hummus that has no chickpeas in it. I'm totally dandy, which is great because I love hummus. So those would be the main things that I would probably try and stay away from. Like I said, going on jpouch.org, a lot of other people have the same problem. So it's kind of a, there you go. Keep a food journal. And if you are extra runny, like extra, like runny, like almost like you're pissing out of your booty, pardon my mouth, try and cut out any kind of dairy, because that can be a culprit. You could be lactose intolerant, and it could affect you via your tummy. I would really suggest trying that. And I know there's some people that are like, oh, I can't give up cheese, I can't give up milk, certain things. Do it. It's so much worth it to sacrifice those things, because yeah, you want it, but you'll eventually get over it and find something else, and or find a substitute. And maybe they won't be as perfect. Trust me, I can't eat gluten, and there's certain things that'll never do what I want them to do and substitute for gluten, but it's so much worth it to live your life and enjoy your life and feel like a normal person. Heck, you just came out of having a horrible disease, whether it was UC, Crohn's, or if you had FAP, and now that you have this surgery, it's giving you another chance to live your life. Live your life. It's worth it. Okay, so let's talk about supplements. I'm gonna just show you 4 different things that I take and why I take them. And then I have a question about certain things like probiotics that I would love people to comment about or email me about. So number one of the very first things that I am gonna the first thing that I'm gonna show you is my liquid daily vitamin that I take. Why do I take a liquid? Well, since we have a J pouch, our ileum has been compromised. And if you don't know what your ileum is, the very bottom of your small intestine is your ileum, which is the most important part. That absorbs all your B vitamins and your iron. So now that they've made that into your J pouch, it's been compromised slightly. So you're not absorbing as much iron you should be absorbing. So you're going to be deficient. Now, I lost half my hair when I was going through my flares with ulcerative colitis. And then after my surgery, I think just from the trauma from the surgery, I shed a lot of hair. But then I also was anemic, and I wasn't absorbing any iron. So when you don't, you just keep losing your hair. And I didn't want to keep losing my hair. And I knew I needed some kind of daily vitamin too, because of, even though I don't have my colon or my rectum anymore, I still have an autoimmune disease. Just so you all know that. Hence fatigue, joint pain, etc. So I decided to take a liquid vitamin, and I used to take this one in particular before my surgery for my daily vitamin. And the reason why I chose liquid is that it can easily be absorbed. I take Pink Stork. It is actually a prenatal vitamin. No, I'm not pregnant or trying to get pregnant. Any woman can take a prenatal no matter where she is. It's pretty much just giving you all you need and then some. But I chose that because it's gonna have extra in there. It's all natural. You can get it off of Amazon, which is where I get it. I think I pay like 32 bucks for it. And you take about a tablespoon a day. I'm too lazy to get out the tablespoon thing. I just take a shot of it, good to go. Once I started taking this, I noticed within 2 days my hair stopped falling out how it was. And now my hair is growing back like crazy, thank God. And then also I have a lot more energy. So this is the very first thing I do when I wake up in the morning. What you do need to make sure though, because it's so, it's thick and it's very potent brown color, they tell you even on the bottle, rinse your, like follow with a glass of water, rinse your mouth out really well or else it can stain your teeth. Great, I just keep it in my fridge, super easy, worth it. The other thing I take, and I always take this, this I take about right when I wake up in the morning, and it takes me like, I leave maybe for work 2 hours later. The other thing I take is olive leaf extract. And by the way, I'm gonna leave links for everything that I'm taking underneath. I take olive leaf extract. I took this as a last ditch effort when I was trying to get in remission before my surgery, because this has a lot of anti-inflammatory effects and it kills a lot of bad bacteria off as well. And it did, I noticed when I had ulcerative colitis that this did help minimize my bleeding. But my hugest fear before my surgery was getting pouchitis. I kept reading and reading and reading and hearing about everybody that was getting pouchitis. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like an infection in your pouch. And I think it's from getting backwash. If I'm wrong, please comment below or email me, correct me, please. But it's miserable pain and it kind of mimics ulcerative colitis. And there's people that get chronic J pouch that then have to get their J pouch, get rid of their J pouch and go back to having bag. I don't want to do that. So I just take this to be safe. I take 3 on an empty stomach in the morning. So I take this first, and about an hour and a half later to 2 hours later, right before I leave work, I take this. And the reason why I do it in such a gap is so that this can be absorbed and this kind of fleshes you out a little bit. So, and I have never had pouchitis, and I don't know if it's because I take this or if it's just because of who I am. Everybody's different. Some people get it, some people don't. I have no idea. But I'm doing it as a precaution. The other thing I like about this is it gives me a lot of energy. So then I'm able to go to work. I'm able to do my 8-hour shift on my feet all day long and hack it out. This has been wonders for me. The only thing that I say with caution with this is that it does tend to make you very watery. So people that do have a colon, it probably would just make their stool a little bit thinner. This will make you run a little bit. So if you are already really runny, I do not suggest taking this. Or what I would do is, even if you're not, I would start off by just taking 1 pill a day and like in the morning and working your way up. You don't have to take 3 like I do every morning. That's a good consistency for me. But I would definitely play it by ear because I don't want you to end up flushing yourself out so much that you get dehydrated. And I also don't want you having an accident. But for me, like I said, I tend to be on the thicker side. This does make me feel better in general. And I'm not dehydrated. I don't have any problems. So yes, but go with caution about this. This is the brand I use. A really important thing to know, the effective thing in olive leaf extract is the, gosh, I'm going to totally say this wrong. Anyways, I'll spell it out for you because I'm not going to try and make a fool out of myself. So it's OLEUROPIN. You want to get that at 20% in this. You can buy olive leaf extract, doesn't mean anything. But it has to be olive leaf, but with this specific, I'm going to put it up there, with this specific thing in there, and it needs to be at 20%. Then it's going to be an effective olive leaf extract for you. The other thing is, this stuff does not smell good. It smells really rancid to the point where I have to just take it lickety-split real fast with water and try not dry heave. I'm making this sound like it's a horrible supplement, but it's actually a great supplement. So do that. And then there's 2 more other supplements I'm going to show you that I take consistently. The first one is called JarroSil. I used to take this all the time. They actually have it in a capsule form and a drop form. I like the drop form. It's been more effective for me. I used to take this right after I was diagnosed with UC because it helps with joint pain. All it is activated silicon, not silicone. It's silicon, which is a mineral, and it's a different version of glucosamine. I don't take glucosamine because a lot of glucosamines are made out of shellfish, and I don't want to put that in my body. You are what you eat. You put shellfish in your body, you're putting the bottom feeders in your body. I don't want to do that. And some people also, especially if you have a shellfish allergy, it's really good to know. It tells you to do about 10 drops in water a day. You can mix it in your coffee. You can mix it in whatever drink, your smoothie. I like to kind of do it in a shot form, so I'll just put it on the bottom of my glass, fill it up with water and kind of mix it in and just drink it real fast. It tastes like lemon water if you do it that way, but I do know a lot of people with reviews just mix it in with their coffee. So but the biggest thing that I've noticed with this is it's helped my joints big time. And as you know, of having an autoimmune disease, ulcerative colitis or Crohn's or any autoimmune disease, always a side effect is joint pain. You have arthritis. So I don't feel as stiff when I get up in the morning. It's not hard for me to go walk. I don't have to stretch myself out. And then also if I'm really at it all day, working my 8-hour days on my feet, I'm not paying for it. So this has helped big time. Another bright side effect, especially someone like me who works in cosmetics, it does help your hair grow back thicker and fuller. So for those of us that have lost our hair, that's a really good thing. And then it actually makes your skin look smoother and plumper in texture. So basically, long story short, the way that it helps your joints, hair, skin, etc., is because it helps you build collagen. There you go. Can't go wrong with that. The fourth thing that I do would be this. And this kind of does the same thing as the JarroSil, but it's just a different concept. And I feel like this is a little bit, you can do either or. I do both. I'm probably overdoing it. It's Collagen Hydrolysate. And the hydrolysate just means that it's able to, it's produced or made in such a way that you're able to dissolve it in hot or cold liquids. So you can do it in your smoothies, you can mix it in with your coffee, you can just mix it in with hot water or tea, however you want to do it. I typically will just mix it in with my hot coffee in the morning. I leave one at work, I have one at home. It doesn't. I'm sorry. It comes, or it doesn't come with a scooper, but it tells you you normally want to do about 2 tablespoons twice a day, but you also want to start off small. And this is collagen for you vegans. I'm really sorry. This is collagen from cow tallow. So it's almost gonna kind of, I don't know how to say this, and I don't mean it in a bad way because it's actually not bad, but it kind of has that scent that you can recognize, almost like animal fat in a good way. When I put it in my coffee, because I just like my coffee black, it kind of mimics the idea of cream. And it foams a little bit. So it kind of makes it buttery and creamy. I think it's really good. I leave it at work. I have other coworkers that I tell them, for sure, I'll just leave the scooper in there, you can use it. And they really like it. This one I notice is really effective joint-wise. I notice it puts me in a better mood too. And then it helps with your skin and your hair. The other cool thing about this in particular versus this, so if you haven't had the surgery yet and you're still bleeding, the way I discovered this was from reading a blog or a forum. That it does help because it produces collagen, it helps heal you, is that it actually helps to stop bleeding. And the hardest thing to get in remission when you have ulcerative colitis is the first thing you need to do is stop the bleeding to even go towards remission. That's the hardest thing to reach. I was way too far gone when I discovered this, but I did notice that it minimized my bleeding drastically. So this is awesome. And these, I got it like for a double pack for like 25 bucks. Individually, they're like $17 or some odd cents, I think, all off of Amazon. I love Amazon, it's great. I will put links for everything below. And then I'll also put my Instagram below, etc., etc. So those are the things I have for you. If you guys have any questions, please comment below or email me and then correct me if I'm wrong on anything, or just share your experiences in general because I would love to hear it. Anyways, you guys have a great day and look forward to my next video next week. Bye.